Good evening, everybody. We're doing something a little different this time. I hate hearing myself on stream. All right. So, we are going to be playing an old Sierra game called Quest for Glory 1. So, you want to be a hero. Um, there is one of these games that I am slightly familiar with in the sense that I think it was Quest for Glory 4 Shadows of Darkness. And that had, I believe, Jennifer Hale as a voice actor in it, as and John Rice Davies. And I think there's vampires in it, and I know there's some Slavic folklore, and that's about it. Um, but I did see that these were on sale at one point. Okay, here we go. Now the catch is before I open any of this stuff, I just maybe should put a couple of I'll maybe get a couple of caveats out of the way. This is one of these old school Sierra adventure games. Now this, so far as I can tell, this is actually kind of an original one because it has like proper combat in it. Like there are RPG elements in it, and it's not just sort of text parsing or whatever. And I'll be playing the VGA remake of it. I believe that one was released in 1992. So there's like, I don't know. There's some interesting stuff. I feel like there'd be I don't know, like it. I really don't know any other examples of games like this. It could be that maybe King's Quest Games incorporated some stuff from this game. Also, I notice apparently this is also called Heroes Quest. Anyways, I've seen Quest for Glory. I've seen So You Want to Be a Hero. I'm kind of going in with very little information. But in terms of just setting the expectations, so I have done some of the old LucasArts games on the stream before. I happen to think that those are really probably the best examples of this style of game. I think even the less popular ones are still really good examples because I feel that LucasArts made a really smart call, and I can see why people might have resisted that outside of LucasArts, maybe even within LucasArts, to basically make it so you can't die. Well, okay, that's not entirely true. Like, you can actually die in Full Throttle. I think actually you can in Monkey Island as well, but like at least in the case of Monkey Island, you really need to work for it. Um, but yeah, the idea here is that in contrast, there were a series of sort of adventure games. I feel like Sierra was probably the other really big example of these. Sierra also seemed to have like a really diverse range. So I've done Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers on stream before. I quite like that one. Um, and sorry, what are some of the? I think King's Quest is probably the best known. Leisure Suit Larry. Uh, what would the? I think there was one called Police Quest, but I feel like that one was a text parser. I don't know if there was ever a VGA version, but anyway. Oh, and of course, Space Quest, which I haven't seen a lot of Space Quest, but there's definitely some things to like about Space Quest. So the thing is that, and actually, I guess if I really want to go through the full Sierra catalog, I think they also did Mixed Up Mother Goose, if I'm not mistaken. That's like, I guess, Baby's first adventure game. So my view is that this genre sort of died out for a reason. And it doesn't mean that I dislike it. It's just I feel like it's the sort of thing that had its moment. And I think there was even a degree of nostalgia for it because there were some recreation, or not recreations, but there was some sort of follow-ups to it. So I think there was Broken Age was an effort to try and create something like that experience. And I feel that I'm trying to remember like Unavowed would be an example of this. There's like a game company that's more or less dedicated to these kinds of experiences. And I suspect that probably today is a better example of why you can get away with something like that. Because I think now you can probably, like, I feel like you can. I don't want to suggest that it's easy to make these sorts of things, but I feel that there is enough stability, and there's maybe like this is the sort of thing where you can afford to be a bit of a niche. Whereas I suspect if you look at the credits for these things, or like if you're hiring John Rhys Davies for like voice acting, let's say, probably there is more, more of a cost than what it would cost to make one of these things today. So again, I don't want to, this is the funny thing, right? Like I do feel that this genre sort of had its moment, and that while there are some spikes in terms of people sort of realizing what they liked in these games, I don't know if it's created sort of this sustained interest to kind of reinvigorate the genre, right? So like if you think of real-time strategy, I know people don't like it when I say this, but frankly, I think they're just not really thinking that carefully when they get mad about this. But like you can look at something like real-time strategy, which technically never went away, but it hasn't exactly had its peak as it did in the past. And but unless of course you accept that the MOBA is one of the more interesting things to happen to that genre. And of course, again, I recognize that there are differences between MOBAs and real-time strategy games. I will also propose that there are differences between, Company of Heroes and Dawn of War and, StarCraft, right? So I suppose the question I would ask is like, at what point do these differences become so meaningful that we talk about different genres? Like I wouldn't turn around and say to someone, "Oh, you like StarCraft? Here, play Quest for Glory. You'll love it." But I can definitely see people who have only ever played RTS games becoming familiar with MOBAs, and in fact probably being better than some other MOBA players, because like you have heroes like Meepo that require a certain degree of micro that I feel gets lost when people go down to that one character. But anyway, I do feel like in the case of something like the adventure genre, you will have these examples that do well. So for instance, Telltale did very well for a while, and then it didn't. And I think to a certain extent, I think people didn't necessarily dislike the game so much as they felt that there was maybe a bit too much, right? That I'll enjoy The Walking Dead, I'll enjoy some of these Telltale experiences, but and I like Wolf Among Us is really good, but maybe not enough to like buy every single thing that Telltale is putting out. Although again, wonderful reflection of what maybe a modern take on the adventure game would be. So as much as I like what I've played of these, and I played very few, like I've played the LucasArts stuff. So I did Day of the Tentacle, Day of the Tentacle, Full Throttle. Pretty sure I played The Secret of Monkey Island. Maybe I'd intended to do the second game at some point. Gives me something to think about. But yeah, it's one of these ones a little bit like how Pillars of Eternity did really well when it came out, but Tyranny and Pillars of Eternity 2 maybe didn't receive the same attention, and it really took something like Baldur's Gate 3, or actually, I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 is probably like the biggest version of it, but like, a Divinity Original Sin 2 to sort of reinvigorate that genre. And I'll be honest with you, I think there's some decisions that Larian made that are much better than any of the original CRPGs. Like, I respect them for what they are, but that doesn't mean that they are above criticism. So the reason why I'm taking the time to talk about this, one, it gives people a chance to come in because I know I'm starting late tonight. But the other thing is that one of the big defects I feel about some of the Sierra adventure games are it's the game's willingness to like kill you in unexpected ways at unexpected times, which can sometimes mean you lose a lot of progress. And then, some of the puzzles in this can be a little weird. I am going to allow myself to consult walkthroughs, but I'm going to do my best not to. I'm very curious how some of the combat stuff will, like how that's going to work on this. But, this is very much in the spirit of things with a sense of humor. And I'd like to see how far I go with this. If nothing else, because I'd really like to try and get to some of the later games, which seem really interesting. So I don't know if that was speaking of interesting, I don't know if that was all that valuable of an introduction. There is some supplemental material, which I'm going to try downloading right now. I wish I'd known. I actually wish I'd known that before. But we're going to take the time to read the manual. I guess this is what it's like to buy the new game. You bring it home and you open all the manuals and things like that. So let's all right. The Famous Adventurers Correspondence School. We can do 2 pages. Quest for Glory 1. So You Want to Be a Hero. Written and directed by Lorianne Cole. Illustrated by Ken Nish. Okay. As much as I'd like to read all of this, I'm not going to get these names right. And I will do my best. So we are going to read the manuals for the start of this stuff. Maybe I should have rolled it back a little bit in terms of the opening babbling, but... How to be a hero. So you want to be a hero. Take this simple 1-minute test to see if you have the right stuff to become a student of the Famous Adventurers Correspondence School for Heroes. You are having dinner with a powerful and influential wizard, and he starts to make rude remarks about muscle-brained adventurers. Do you A. Kill the wizard and upset the magical balance of the entire universe by breaking his spell, preventing the eruption of a volcano that then spews lava over the peaceful nearby town? B. Ignore his remarks and pass the salt. You'd be surprised how many would-be heroes choose option A. But here at the Famous Adventurers Correspondence School for Heroes, we know that the correct response is, of course, C. You too can become a useful and productive member of the hero community by taking this simple course in How to Be a Hero. Oh dear. The hero. What is a hero? Hero is the title for which all adventurers strive. A hero must be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Be he or she fighter or wizard, thief or man or woman about town. He or she, sorry, just give me a second here. Okay, that does look like an imperfection in the recording. Is the desire of all women and the envy of all men, or perhaps the other way around. How do I become a hero? To become a hero, you must first become an adventurer. Adventurers are most often fighters, magic users, and thieves. The Adventurers Guild. Meeting hall and employment agency for all would-be heroes, the Adventurers Guild will become your home away from home. This is where you go to have your exploits recorded in the log and boast with your peers. You can obtain information about who's who in the local area. The bulletin board is a good place to find out about jobs available and what rewards are posted. Be sure to check out the bulletin board in the guild hall nearest you for announcements that could further your career. There is an Adventurers Guild in nearly every major town just waiting for you to sign and be counted among the ranks as a real adventurer. The fighter. What is the fighter? What is a fighter? The fighter is the most popular of the adventurer vocations. Simple and straightforward, he views the world as an opportunity to test his strength and courage against the universe. A fighter is one who, when faced with a foe, takes arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing, ends them. He is the artist whose body is his palette. Exercise is his daily bread. The fighter relishes every battle with any foe, for though he is beaten and blackened and bruised and blemished beyond all recognition, he knows that he is better for it all. How do I become a fighter? To become a fighter, you must begin by developing your strength and skill with weapons. Your sword will become your right hand, assuming, of course, you are right-handed. Your shield is your lifeguard that plunges before you to interpose itself between you and the wave of horrible slavering monsters. Physical labor becomes a pleasure, for every ache and pain will remind you of those hard-earned muscles. Encounter each enemy with exuberance, for the experience will be exhilarating as long as it doesn't exterminate you. How do I fight? If one wishes to become a fighter, it is wise to obtain a sword and shield at the earliest opportunity. We do not recommend unarmed combat against a monster, as you can be disarmed rapidly. Basic sword work consists of thrust and swing. The thrust is the deft skewer of an opponent's midsection, quick and to the point with a minimum of mess. The swing, on the other hand, is a slicing motion designed to release as much of the opponent's interior components as possible. While the swing inflicts more damage, the thrust is quicker. Preference is a matter of personal taste and whether or not you have a strong stomach. Defense largely depends on the use of the dodge, block, and parry. While there are those who believe that real fighters do not need such wimpy defensive techniques, most surviving heroes attest to their effectiveness. Trying to defeat a monster while ignoring the basic defenses usually results in ex-heroes. Dodge, in theory, is moving out of the range of an opponent's weapon. Your agility is a major factor in how well you will manage this. Block is placing the shield between you and the attack designed to lead you to an untimely demise. Parry is using your sword to prevent the foe's weapon from similarly cleaving your skull. Quick reflexes and practice make block and parry into true lifesavers. The Magic User. What is a magic user? Master of mystery, propounder of power, intimate of intuition, the magic user is the intellectual among adventurers. The magic user must master his mind to mold the mysteries of the ages. Through the use and control of the magical spell, the magic user can selectively alter the fabric of the universe and create things out of whole cloth. Spells are usually learned by reading specially created scrolls that brand the spells upon the brain. They can be purchased at specialty shops, gained from kindly old wizards, and frequently found in the oddest places. Scrolls are of no use to those without magic skill or to those who already know the spell, so the neophyte is encouraged to inquire about scrolls frequently. Spells are cast by using the magical energy the magic user stores in his body. This power pervades the world, but only one trained in the mystical arts can usually absorb it. The amount of energy a spell takes depends on the potency and duration of a particular spell. How do I become a magic user? To become a magic user, you must first find a teacher of the craft. Many towns and villages have magic users who, for a modest fee, are willing to impart the spark that will ignite the mental light to illuminate the ultimate abilities of the student. Once the mind has been opened to magic, it can be used with arcane lore, spells, curses, cures, and trivia about obscure creatures that never fails to impress the locals. Magic users have a reputation for being mysterious, and much of their time is taken up maintaining this illusion. To this end, mirrors are useful for practicing facial expressions, and a repertoire of moods ranging from haughty disdain for fools who ask stupid questions, ideal when you don't know the correct answer, to complete and utter concentration, so don't you dare disturb me, perfect for catching 40 winks, particularly if you can master sleep with your eyes open, will come in handy. To enhance your magic user reputation, develop your eccentricities. Talking to thin air does wonders for having those around you treat you with respect. After all, they can't be sure you aren't talking to someone they can't see. Get in the habit of using expressions like, "I know the answer," in deep, mysterious tones. Then smile and say nothing. You'll soon have people whispering, he or she must be a magic user. You can just give me a quick second here. I need to clean my glasses. They're driving me absolutely mental. Okay, hopefully that will keep me in better shape. Common everyday magical spells. For the uninitiated, only a few might... Nope, that was not even close to clean. Let me try that again. I think this is the drawback of trying to rush something when I'm doing it on stream. I usually take twice as long. And that'll do. Common everyday magic spells. For the uninitiated, only a few minor spells are available. These, however, can become quite powerful as the magic user becomes skilled in their usage. As with all skills, it takes practice to improve a spell, and as with all magic, it takes intelligence to know when a spell is useful. Zap. Layton's latent electrical discharge spell, or as it is more commonly known, the Zap, is used chiefly for offensive purposes. The spell is generally placed upon a weapon such as a dagger. When the weapon strikes an opponent, magical energy is released. Thus the spell is used to increase the amount of damage a weapon can do. It can be cast upon the weapon before it is needed, but only one spell can be cast on a weapon at a time. It is also unfortunate, but this must be used in close combat. Open. This useful little spell is particularly suited for absent-minded spellcasters who tend to misplace their keys. Unless an item is designed to be used with the spell, the open is limited to unlocking simple locks when first learned. With experience, however, the spell can be used to open a variety of closed objects, such as doors. Fetch. Lowenhard's Lariat of Legerdemain, or better known as Fetch, is a spell used to manipulate objects at a distance. Upon casting, the spell creates an energy field around a visible object and brings it to the caster. With a good deal of skill, it can be used to move objects from one place to another. It is limited to small, non-living objects. Flame Dart. One of the most colorful and popular spells, the Flame Dart projects a field of magical fire towards an object or thing. The amount of damage produced is directly related to the amount of experience with the spell. Detect Magic. This spell is used to reveal objects that have spells cast upon them. It can also be used to find things made invisible by spells. Trigger. R. Rogers' reactivating ritual, or trigger, allows the caster to set off operating magical spells. Thus, the magic user can avoid damage from magical traps or close doors with the snap of the fingers. The spell is commonly used in wizard games. Calm. This spell is used to prevent a combat situation. The Calm spell is cast when first a monster is spotted. The monster is bathed in an aura of mellowness and pauses for a moment to contemplate the universe and its belly button. The magic user may thus beat a hasty retreat. It affects only one non-magical creature at a time and is limited at first to minor monsters. With experience, more aggressive creatures can be calmed. However, do not try this on dragons. It is not practical to cast this in close combat or where aggressive actions have already taken place. For example, if you cast Calm against a Saurus Rex about to take a bite out of you, the monster generally just calmly eats you. Dazzle. Erasmus's Razzle Dazzle produces a flash of brilliant magic that temporarily blinds a creature eyeing the magic user. The disruption of this effect is determined by the caster's skill in the spell. This spell is quite effective in close combat. How to play the Mage's Maze. The most popular entertainment among those of the magical persuasion is a game known as Mage's Maze. Each wizard has his own personally customized game environment, suiting his or her particular predilections. While each game is thus somewhat different, all known examples share certain common features. The object of Mage's Maze is to enable your game creature to reach the finish point ahead of that of your opponent. Since the creatures are self-willed, and often very willful, the only way to achieve this is by encouraging your creature to follow a correct route to the finish. This is done by removing obstacles, placing bridges and ladders, and otherwise providing a hospitable path, or by impeding your opponent's creature. Mage's Maze is played exclusively by casting spells. Popular spells include Trigger, Open, and Fetch. Some variations use additional spells such as Flame Dart, Zap, Darkness, and Invisibility. The Trigger spell generally activates a pre-existing shape change spell on your creature. In one popular form of the game, each creature may take on one of several sizes at any given time. Each trigger spell increases the creature's size up to some limit, after which the next trigger switches to the smallest size. Of course, the creatures also interact in various ways. A larger creature may eat a smaller, or like-shaped creatures may be attracted to each other. The Open spell may be used to remove obstacles or open doors in the game environment. The mage casts Open, then concentrates on the offending obstacle. Fetch is often used to move bridges, ladders, carpets, or other useful objects around the game board. After casting the Fetch spell, the mage focuses on an object and must maintain concentration until it has been deposited in the desired location. Flame Dart, sometimes used to create an area of warmth to which the creature will be attracted. Of course, most spells affect your opponent's creature as well as your own, so caution must be applied in their use. The Thief. What is the Thief? Sultan of stealth, chief of chicanery, potentate of plunder, the thief is the master of many skills. From subterfuge to housebreaking, thieves live by their wits. Since the thief cannot fight as effectively as the fighter or cast spells as the magic user, he seems to be the weakest of adventurers. However, he is also the most powerful of adventurers, for he can get away with murder. How do I become a thief? Agility is the most important thing if you intend to pursue the honorable profession of purloining. Most of the skills a thief uses are based on his or her grace and dexterity. There are many schools of thought that teach the skills necessary. Using stealth is following the way of the rat, a slow, cautious scuttle with all senses alert. Climbing is following the way of the three-toed sloth, which ascends above those who seek it and goes where they cannot. Running is the way of the cockroach, which pauses first to assess the danger, then runs like mad. Lockpicking is the way of the aardvark, which delicately inserts its tongue into the termite's nest to get out the luscious treasure within. Throwing is the way of the dive bomber beetle, which launches itself into the air and plots a course straight and true until it hits something and bounces off. All of these disciplines must be mastered before you will know the one true way of the thief. You must become one with your lockpick. This tool can open doors into realms you have only imagined. The Thieves' Toolkit will allow you to see what you have not seen before, and to go where you could not go. Wonders will lie before you and become your own, for the art of the thief is to free others from their need for material possessions, and to teach them that inner peace comes not from what you have, but from what you have not. The way of the thief is the way of the cuckoo bird, which, by laying its egg in other birds' nests so that it hatches and kicks out all the other eggs, reveals that unless you share with others, you have nothing. The thief is thus the teacher of great knowledge and truth. What is a Thieves' Guild? To aid the thief on his never-ending journey for the true way, the Thieves' Guild was created. This benevolent organization was formed to give the thief a chance to socialize among people of like mind without having to watch his purse, for this is the refuge from the petty worries of the world. The Thieves' Guild motto is, "Thou shalt not steal here." This is the place to find those lockpicks and toolkits that you crave. Here is where you relieve yourself of another's possessions and fence the items for cash. How do I find the Thieves' Guild? Thieves' guilds, due to unfortunate social pressures, are forced to keep a low profile. Unlike the Adventurers' Guild, that allows any scum off the street to enter and call himself an adventurer, the Thieves' Guild allows only the true followers of the way to enter its portals. Thus, a series of secret signs have been adopted. To identify yourself as a thief, you must make the proper thief sign. This consists of placing your thumb upon your nose with the hand held perpendicular to the face, and the fingers outspread. You then waggle your fingers while focusing your eyes on your thumb and patting your belly with the other hand. This is the proper way to greet a fellow follower and still retain your pocket money. When searching a strange town for a thieves' guild, it is wisest not to be too obvious about it. Asking the sheriff where you can find the local thieves' guild will at the very least make him suspicious of you and quite possibly get you thrown into the local hoosegow. Most local thieves will know the location of their guild, so give them the sign and they'll give you what you're asking for. Remember to find out the password for the guild wishes to discourage casual inquirers and spies. Attempting to enter the Thieves' Guild without the password is like picking a fight with a troll. It's easily done, but you'll be done in easily. How to make friends and influence important people. Knowing who to know is crucial for the aspiring hero. Here are examples of some of the types of people you are likely to meet and ways in which you will need to deal with them. Rulers. While the majority of adventurers never get to meet the ruler of the land they are in, nevertheless their lives are directly affected by him or her. Rulers, be they kings or queens, dukes, lords, or sultans, have a profound impact upon their environment. A good ruler keeps his lands free from monsters, his people safe from brigands, and his adventurers very bored. It is hard to be a hero in such a place. A bad ruler, on the other hand, neglects to maintain a routine route of monsters, ceases to retain a trained militia to break up the bad guys, and in short allows his or her kingdom, or queendom, castle, domain, holdings, or empire to go to pot. This is where real heroes are made. Wizards. Wizards and other magic users should be treated with respect. Even though they may be testy and temperamental, weird and wicked, or silly and simple, it is best to keep one's calm and be polite. It is better than being a toad. Peace officers. Sheriffs, militia, constables, and cops are all good people to be polite towards. It is hard to be a hero from inside the local dungeon. Healers. Heroes are constantly undergoing intense and extensive physical damage during the course of an adventure. Healing potions help restore vital body parts and ease the pain. Healers are a major source of healing potions. Never annoy a healer unless you are covered by a good health insurance plan. Guildmasters. Guildmasters are a useful resource for adventurers. Guildmasters usually are retired local adventurers and know much about the region. They can usually give information and advice about the local monsters. Innkeepers. In order to recover from a hard day of adventuring, there is nothing better than a nice warm meal and a snuggly bed. Innkeepers, are quite capable of exacting vengeance upon a rude adventurer, whether by moldy bread and uncooked stewed or by bedbugs, so it is best not to perturb them. Shopkeepers. Shopkeepers and merchants are good sources for needed equipment. Magical creatures. There abounds in this land a wide variety of strange intelligent creatures, some of which have or use magic. It is sometimes hard to tell monsters from magical creatures, since some monsters are magical. Magical creatures include fairies, fairy folk, shape changers, dryads, and enchanted humans. They all tend to be powerful, so it is recommended that adventurers approach strange creatures with caution. Famous monsters of Adventureland. What would a hero do without some horrible monster ravaging the countryside, devouring large farm animals, depopulating the peasants, and causing insurance rates to go up? Monsters are the stuff that heroes are made of. After all, it is very difficult to rescue damsels unless they are distressed. What is a monster? Raiser of rulers, annihilator of adventurers, bane of insurance salesmen, monsters come in many colors, shapes, and sizes. The best way to determine whether a creature is indeed a monster is to observe it carefully in its natural habitat. Here are some warning signs that could indicate a tendency to being a monster. 1. Oozes green ichor that shrivels plants, corrodes metal, and smells like rotten turnips. 2. Eats people with its mouth full. 3. Collects half-eaten corpses. 4. Drools, gibbers, and slavers. 5. Attacks first and asks questions later. 6. Twitches its tentacles in anticipation of torturing tourists. 7. Will not eat his spinach. Of course, this makes it difficult to tell a monster from your average adventurer. An easy rule of thumb is this: if a creature attacks, kill it, and call it a monster afterwards. The humanoids. Goblins. Goblins are short, squatty creatures living in large colonies underground. Although they seem cowardly at first encounter, they tend to observe an adventurer and assess his or her weaknesses. Once they regain their courage, they tend to gang up on the unsuspecting hero. It is not advisable to go exploring a goblin hole unless accompanied by a party of dwarves. Kobolds. Kobolds are distant relatives of dwarves, although neither will admit it. They live in caves deep underground and shun sunlight and outsiders. Small and spindly, they do not fight very well. However, they can be powerful magic users and enchanters, so it is best to be cautious around them. Goons. Goons are semi-domesticated relatives of ogres. Not actually a monster unless you make them mad, goons are large, ugly, and rather dumb. With patience, kindness, and 5 years of extensive training, they can be housebroken. Giants. Giants come in many varieties and sizes. They can be highly intelligent or very stupid, extremely cultured or pure brute, patient and gentle, or likely to tear off your leg at the slightest provocation. Always use caution when dealing with giants. Minotaurs. Minotaurs are half-man, half-bovine creatures of great strength. They tend to be extremely bullheaded and charge ahead whenever they see red. Some do, however, take to the more human side of the family. When intelligence combines with sheer brute force, you have a foe worthy of a hero's skills. Sorry, I just got to clean up. Trolls. Large, sly, and generally nasty, the common Northern Hemisphere troll is extremely sensitive to sunlight, so he lives in dark places and travels mainly at night. The skin of a troll is like heavy armor and resists damage from weapons and fire. Unfortunately, the common Southern Hemisphere troll, while not as tough as his cousin, has a disgusting habit of rapid regeneration and can heal wounds almost as quickly as a hero can make them. Fire prevents such regeneration. In general, it is always wise to know which hemisphere one is in when dealing with trolls. The beard of a troll is frequently used in making potions. Ogres. Ogres are big, ugly, and stupid. They are also very strong and aggressive. Their hobbies include crunching bones and smashing skulls. They tend to carry around their prized possessions in their chests. It is not clear where the carry around their prized possessions in chests. It is not clear where the chests come from, why ogres get them, or how ogres even open the chests. These are topics of heated debate among scholars. The Inhumanoids. Sorry, if you could just give me a quick second here. I need to readjust my blanket. The Inhumanoids. Saurus. Creatures of enormous appetites and very little brain, sauruses tend to do a lot of running around. The saurus is scaly and lizard-like, with highly developed hindquarters upon which it runs, and small underdeveloped front legs used to grasp food. Its large mouth is filled with sharp teeth. Despite its fearsome appearance, it is remarkably easily defeated by the seasoned adventurer. Mantray. Assumed to be of magical origin, the mantray has abilities of camouflage, flight, and controlled lightning. Resembling a cross between a manta ray and a sting ray, it lives in forested areas where it conceals itself upon the ground, awaiting the unwary. Moose. A moose is a large, ungainly creature with great antlers. It is prized by trophy hunters, and as a result is oversensitive about losing its head. It is therefore extremely temperamental and has a wicked bite. Bear. A hungry or angry bear can be a fierce opponent. A quick swipe of its sharp claws can make mincemeat of the average adventurer. A bear standing on its hind legs is obviously a bear to beware. Griffin. This is a cross between a lion and an eagle. This cross between a lion and an eagle is usually found in the more arid regions around mountainous valleys, but an occasional griffin has been spotted as far north as Spielberg Valley. The mobility of flight adds to the danger from the knife-edged claws and beak. The griffin has a curious affinity for mock turtles. Cheetor. The cheetor is noted for its speed and cunning. This cat-like creature, with a humanoid torso, has a deadly slashing combination of claws and bite. The northern variety is more panther-like and slower at running than its slender southern cousin, but retains its swiftness and attack. Fortunately for the local inhabitants, cheetors never prosper in colder regions. Saurus rex. This monster resembles a Saurus on steroids. Recommended strategy for encounters: run away. Dragons. Avoid entirely unless you are already a certified hero. The Undead. Skeletons and zombies. Animated skeletons, although rather disconcerting, are seldom a real threat to a seasoned adventurer, assuming, of course, that the adventurer has more in his skull than the skeleton. The zombie is an animated corpse that shambles along trailing bits of decomposed flesh and extremities. Disgusting and extremely smelly, they are difficult to kill, being already dead. The zombie's annual convention is known as a jamboree. Floating spirits, ghosts, specters, and wraiths. Floating spirits are a minor sort of ghost caused by desecrated graves. Although they are graceful and even strangely attractive, they can draw out the life from any unfortunate who wanders into a graveyard at night without magical protection. Undead unguent is commonly used to repel floating spirits and is usually available at the local healer or apothecary. Ghosts, specters, and wraiths can be easily identified by the feelings of intense cold and fear that immediately precedes their appearance. They should be avoided at all costs unless the adventurer is a wizard-class magic user or a paladin-level hero. The Unknown. Night Gaunts. No one is certain just what these creatures look like, since those who have met Night Gaunts are dead. Adventurers should be cautioned against sleeping in unprotected wilderness areas at night because the Night Gaunts will get you if you don't watch out. Part 2. The How you doing, Algrins? We're on the other side of 3 years now. Thank you very much. It's weird. I wouldn't have thought it was that long, but I guess it has been that long. So, and I don't know. We haven't even opened the game yet, so I don't know. I don't even know if Night Gaunts are real. Famous Adventurers Correspondence School. I'm hoping that's part 2, not Quest for Glory 2. Advanced Adventuring Course. So you had to be a hero. Now that you've been on your own in the real world of high-powered adventuring, you have probably discovered that there is more to this hero business than was covered in your Famous Adventurers Correspondence School handbook. After all, why should we tell you everything at once when we can make big bucks selling you additional manuals? In your everyday quest for glory, you are bound to encounter situations of such magnitude and unbelievable stress that you can probably say to yourself, maybe I should have taken the famous accountant's correspondence course instead. Relax. We here at the Famous Adventurers Correspondence School have the information you need. For just 10 golds, plus 25 silvers shipping and handling, we will send you a free copy of the Famous Adventurers Correspondence School's Advanced Adventuring Manual. This manual will help you survive the everyday stress and strain of marauding monsters, malicious magic, and corporate managers to achieve the acme of your adventuring activities. You too can become an advanced adventurer, guaranteed or double your money back, minus shipping and handling charges. Quest for Glory, Famous Adventurers Correspondence School, 12345, Eris Way, Silmeria. It is illegal to make unauthorized copies of this software. This software is protected under federal copyright law. It is illegal to make and distribute copies of this software except to make a backup copy for archival purposes only. Duplication of this software for any other reason, including for sale, loan, rental, or gift, is a federal crime. Penalties include fines of as much as $50,000 and jail terms up to 5 years. I feel like Trial by Fire is actually the second game, if I'm not mistaken. Just bear with me a sec. I do want to read through the manuals, but I don't want to read through the manuals to a point where I'm like I'm reading stuff that I can like save for another session. I know we're like already half an hour in. Quest for Glory 2 is in fact Trial by Fire. Also, it has a date of 1989. Fascinating. So did they not do a VGA remake of number 2, just number 1? It's going to be really weird to see the see the graphics drop down. Okay. How you doing, Vanguard? Reminds me of when you were younger. I used to take the game manuals to school to read and draw stuff from them. Like this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say if number 2 okay. I don't know what the hero journal is, so let's take a quick Quest for Glory 3. It does say Quest for Glory 4, so actually, you know what? That looks very Quest for Glory 4, so I'm going to skip that one. Maps. Okay, that's number 2. Quest for Glory 5. Quest for okay, wanted hero, no experience necessary. Visit beautiful Spielberg, fight monsters, defeat brigands, reward and title Hero of Spielberg to the successful applicant. Quest for Glory collection. As a hero, you'll be given the responsibility to try and make things better, to improve the world around you. It's a good feeling to get through the games and realize that without your help, this game world would have been a sadder place. OFG combines traditional Sierra graphic adventure techniques with role-playing game elements such as abilities and skills that directly affect your character's performance. The series was designed so that players could choose to use a fighter, magic user, or thief, and the story and puzzles would be sufficiently different for each to make the games worthy of replay. You may remember Quest for Glory 1 as Hero's Quest, but after the publication of the game, it was discovered that the Milton Bradley Company had already trademarked that name, the name Hero Quest, and a decision was made to change the name to avoid the confusion. All right, I'm going to skip over the original. There we go. Quest for Glory 1 revision. So you want to be a hero. The plot is the same as the original Quest for Glory 1, 257. Okay, does it? We'll do the quick summary just to, so I can get that, because it doesn't look like there's... Quest for Glory 1 takes place in the medieval-style town of Spielberg. The goal is to be named Hero of Spielberg by finding the Baron's missing children, fighting the brigands, and dealing with the ogress Baba Yaga. Walk around using the keyboard arrow keys or by clicking your mouse on a destination. Type commands such as look at the floor, ask about the brigands, take the note, run, walk, or sneak. Walk to new areas of the game by walking off the edge of the screen, if you can. Press the keyboard's escape key to access the game's menu to save, restore, and quit. Press the tab key to select menu options if you are not using the mouse. Save the game often before dangerous situations. If your save game directory is full, change to another directory. Quest for Glory 1 revision. So you want to be a hero. The plot is the same as the original Quest for Glory 1. 256 color artwork was added. The typing parser was replaced with an icon-based mouse-controlled interface. Bring the mouse pointer to the top of the screen to access the icon menu. To look at a wall, click on the look icon, then click on the wall. To take a note, click on the hand icon, then click on the note. To talk to people, click on the mouth pointer on them. The information duplicated in the Quest for Glory 1 section of the manual will not be repeated here, so I have to read both. Thanks. Don't get discouraged. If you come across an obstacle that seems insurmountable, don't despair. Spend some time exploring another area and come back later. Every problem in the game has at least one solution, and some have more than one. Sometimes solving a problem one way will make it harder to solve the next, and sometimes it will make it easier. If you get stuck, you might try backtracking to an earlier point in the game, then choosing a different path. If all else fails, you can buy the hint book from the dealer who sold you the game, or you can order it directly from Sierra Online. Look in the customer service section of this manual for more information. Bring along some help. You may find it helpful and fun to play the game with a friend. 2 or more heads are better than 1 at interpreting clues and solving problems, and heroes throughout history have worked in teams. What is Quest for Glory? Quest for Glory combines the character development and combat of a fantasy role-playing game with the basic adventure game concept of exploring a world and solving its puzzles. So You Want to Be a Hero is the first Quest for Glory scenario. The essence of role-playing is that you must try to think as your character would when faced with a dilemma. In Quest for Glory 1, you can choose from 3 basic character types: the wily strong fighter, the mysterious magician, or the wily thief. Each has the same goal, to be named Hero of Spielberg. Each character, however, will set about accomplishing that goal in a different way. The magician may use spells to overcome some obstacles, but might not survive a pitched battle with a monster. The thief must find a crafty way around the same problem that the fighter or magic user would approach directly. Day will eventually turn to night, so you'll need to find safe places to sleep. Your food and money will eventually run out if you don't get more. Experience is an important factor in this game. Your skills improve as you practice them. The more you do things, the better you'll get at doing them. Thus, you will be able to accomplish things by the end of the game that you would never be able to do at the beginning, simply because you have improved your skills. Conversation is a very important part of Quest for Glory 1. You will meet many strange people and creatures. To learn about your quest, you will need to speak with almost everyone you meet. Like your character, the beings you meet will have distinct personalities and knowledge. You will want to ask specific questions and find out what you can. Heroes must also deal with monsters they encounter. There are all sorts of monsters in the world, so it's important to learn when to fight, and when to run away. Each battle you do fight will provide you with valuable experience, and sometimes your victories will yield treasure that you will need in order to buy food and equipment. Just don't forget to search the bodies after you slay the monsters. A hero's life isn't always serious, though. Between desperate encounters with terrible monsters and life-and-death decisions lie many lighthearted, humorous, and downright silly moments. This way you can enjoy the excitement and have some fun as well. Playing a role. You begin Quest for Glory as a recent graduate of the Famous Adventurers Correspondence School for Heroes. A poster in your local Adventurers Guild reads, "Wanted, Hero, no experience necessary. Visit beautiful Spielberg, fight monsters, defeat brigands, reward and title Hero of Spielberg to the successful applicant." It sounded good, especially the no experience necessary part. Now, after a month's journey over torturous terrain, narrowly evading death at every turn, you aren't as enthusiastic. But here you are at the town gates, and it's too late to turn back. You will defeat the monsters and brigands that plague Spielberg or die trying. The latter seems more likely at this point. Now you must become your character and learn to think as he would, reason as he would, and solve problems as he would. You can only be successful if you use your character's own distinct personality to keep him alive. Living in this crazy world. Just as in real life, there are basic things a person must do to stay alive. You will need to eat a couple of meals each day. If you are carrying food, you will eat automatically, but try not to run out of rations. You'll also need to sleep to regain health, stamina, and magic points. Without sleep, you will use those points quickly. Sleep is best accomplished at night, as travel is much safer during daylight hours. Besides, heroes are notorious for their Type A personalities. You must be careful where you bed down, though, or you may wake up as someone's midnight snack. Also, like in real life, basic necessities often cost money. To earn money, you can carry out a quest. They'll be posted at the guild hall. Defeat a wealthy monster, or, worst of all, get a job at the castle. In the Coin of the Realm, 10 silver pieces is equal to 1 gold. Supplies such as food, equipment, magical spells, and healing potions, well, it says portions there, but can be purchased from the local shops. You will carry most of your equipment in a backpack. The amount you can carry is determined by your strength and the weight of your equipment. If for some reason you are in a hurry, a monster on your tail or some such thing, type run to move more quickly. Don't run too far though, or you'll soon become tired. Type walk to resume walking normally. All right. Icon bar. The typing interface described in Quest for Glory 1 original section of this manual has been replaced with a mouse-based point-and-click icon interface. Instead of typing commands, you will select icons such as look and talk, and then click on things or characters in the game. When your mouse pointer is moved to the top of the screen, the icon bar appears. These icons are walk, look, do, talk, special action, magic, item, inventory system, and help. Special action bar. In addition to the icons in your standard icon bar, you will notice 2 different ones. One of these is the special action icon. When you select it, a separate icon bar will appear. And I do apologize for those of you that don't care for the manuals, but I also know that these games don't have like tutorials in the way that we're used to. So in addition to the icons, when you select it, a separate icon bar will appear. These icons control special actions that you might want your character to take. From left to right, walk causes your hero to resume walking normally after performing another action. Run causes your hero to run quickly. Sneak causes your hero to move stealthily. Sleep causes your hero to take a nap. Character allows you to look at your hero's character sheet. Hourglass tells you the current game time. Check mark means you don't want to select any of the other icons at this time. Selecting it will take you back to the main icon bar. Question mark will give you the definition of the other icons in the bar when you move the question cursor over them. Magic icon bar. In addition to your standard icons on your special action at the top of your screen, you will notice the magic icon. If you are a magic user and you select the magic icon, a magic icon bar and magic inventory will appear. The magic icon consists of 4 symbols. Left to right, look, eye cursor allows you to look at the spells in your inventory. You will get the name and definition of the spell as well as the MPs needed to cast it, and the level of skill your hero has in a particular spell. Do, hand cursor, allows you to cast the spell you have clicked in the hand cursor on. Checkmark means you don't want to cast any spells at this time. Selecting it will take you back to the main icon bar. Question mark gives you a definition of the other icons in the bar when you click it on them. Below the magic icon bar is your magic inventory. The beginning magic user will have only 1 spell, Zap. Your hero can acquire 7 other spells during the course of the game. A full listing of spells can be found in the Famous Adventurers Correspondence School Manual found on the game CD in the file background.doc and background.txt. Your magic user's spell casting will improve with practice. To cast a spell, select the spell from your magic inventory with the hand, do cursor, and then select the spell icon on the person or thing you wish to cast it at. Combat. The information duplicated in the Quest for Glory 1 original section of this manual will not be repeated here. When you engage a monster in battle, the combat menu will appear in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. There are 3 different variations of the combat menu, one for fighters, sword, one for thieves, dagger, and one for magic users. The sword or dagger menu will appear automatically depending on which weapon you are carrying. You can switch between that menu and the magic menu by clicking on the center of the menu or pressing the 5 key in the center of your keypad. You can do battle by either selecting your actions on the combat menu with your mouse or joystick or by using the corresponding keys on the keypad. If you feel the situation has gotten out of hand, return to the magic menu and select the run icon to make tracks. Many battles can be avoided, and it might be wise at times to do so. Combat, however, is one of the best ways for an aspiring hero to practice and improve his skills. Each time you defeat a monster, you will gain valuable experience that will increase your chances in future battles. Remember, always search the body of your opponent. Click the hand icon on the body. After winning a battle, for some creatures carry money or other useful items. In most cases, status bars are displayed during combat, keeping you informed of health, status, and mana, magic energy points, for your character. As you become injured, health points diminish. You will use stamina points as you work hard at fighting or using your skills. When stamina points are depleted, energy is drawn from health. When health points are gone, your character is dead. A health bar is also displayed for your opponent to show how badly it is injured. So I'm just going to pause for some refreshment. I'm going to go back to the combat. Well, hello, it is D-Pain. Look at this dude reading things. Hello, everybody from D-Pain's channel. I'll just caution you ahead of time. I am an hour in, and I've not actually started the game yet. But that's because I spent about 10 minutes setting things up, and then I do actually want to read the manual for this old game. I don't suppose any of you have played some of these old Sierra games. This is going to be the first time I go into this. Ecorb, good to see you. But yes, for those of you who don't know It Is D-Pain, I actually don't know what you were playing tonight, but It Is D-Pain is a very nice streamer, somebody who has kindly invited me both as a listener and as a participant to the podcast that he runs with Apocalypse, the Pointless Discord podcast. And Ecorb is actually also a broadcaster. I have gotten to know a little bit through the Outlast trials, but is also commonly seen in proximity to It Is D-Pain. I think he played one or two. I'm terrible at them. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the reasons why I'm reading the manual, right? Because this is apparently quite different. So apparently it's got like role-playing elements inside of it. But anyways, I just want to caution D-Pain's audience. I am really looking forward to trying this, but I do actually want to try and give this like a good faith run, because I do know that I'm very spoiled by modern gaming conventions. And so like I kind of expect an in-game tutorial to teach me everything and not read a manual and so on and so forth. So, okay, combat. The world is full of monsters and villains, and if you want to stay alive long enough to become a hero, you really ought to learn how to fight them. A clash will occur at any time a monster comes near enough to strike your character, or when you type fight. Combat can take place in the room where you encounter a monster, allowing more movement and strategy, or the screen may change to a close-up of the monster. When you encounter a monster, you will need to react quickly. You can throw daggers or cast an appropriate spell while the monster is still at a distance, or you can type fight to engage in battle. While in combat, you can cast some spells, but you won't have time to use healing or other potions. Distant combat. Up arrow thrust or swing, left arrow dodge, down arrow parry, right arrow duck. Close combat. Up arrow thrust, down arrow shield block, left and right arrows dodge. Hello, Underwater Monk. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Ecorb. This is also good to see you. I had a very fun encounter in text on Monday. Apparently, it was my fault for there not being any reading that happened on on Saturday. Yeah. I was not amused. I don't mind if things like mess up or something like that, but when the conversation turns to blame storming, I tend to get a little cranky. Timing is the most important element of combat strategy. Try to strike when your opponent is open and anticipate his attacks to better defend yourself. Your choice to either block or dodge blows should depend on your skills and equipment. If you feel that the situation has gotten out of hand, you can type escape or press Ctrl E to retreat. Many battles can be avoided, and it might be wise at times to do so. Okay, we've covered that before. Let's go back to important information. This is a refresher course of the information from the Famous Adventures Correspondence School Manual. The full text of the manual can be found on the QFG Anthology CD in the Doko directory. Fighter. To become a fighter, you must begin developing your strength and skill at weapons. Magic user. Holy crap, I'm not reading all that. To become a magic user, you must first find a teacher of the craft. For the uninitiated, only a few minor spells are available. These, however, can become quite powerful as the magic user becomes skilled in their usage. As with all skills, it takes practice to improve a spell, and as with all magic, it takes intelligence to know when a spell is useful. Zap, a spell that is cast upon a weapon such as a dagger. The spell is used to increase the amount of damage a weapon can do. It can be cast upon the weapon before it is needed, but only one spell can be cast on a weapon at a time. It is also unfortunate, but this must be used in close combat. Open, unless an item is designed to be used with a spell, the open is limited to unlocking simple locks when it is first learned. With experience, however, the spell can be used to open a variety of closed objects such as doors. Fetch, manipulate objects at a distance. Upon casting, this spell creates an energy field around a visible object and brings it to the caster. It is limited to small, non-living objects. Flame Dart, project a field of magical fire towards an object or thing. The amount of damage produced is directly related to the amount of experience with the spell. Detect Magic, used to reveal objects that have spells cast upon them to be used to find things made invisible by spells. Trigger allows the caster to set off operating magical spells, thus the magic user can avoid damage from magical traps or closed doors. This spell is commonly used in wizard games. Calm. This spell is used to prevent a combat situation. The Calm spell is cast when first a monster is spotted. With experience, more aggressive creatures can be calmed. It is not practical to cast this in close combat or where aggressive actions have already taken place. Dazzle produces a flash of brilliant magic that temporarily blinds a creature eyeing the magic user. The duration of this effect is determined by the caster's skill in the spell. The spell is quite effective in close combat. I'm happy to skip the thief stuff because I think I'll play a magic user. Okay, so Zap for 7, Run for 1, Flame Dart 9, Dazzle 3. But presumably with Zap, I do actually need to like attack at some point. I feel like this could be slightly clearer, but this sure seems like the VGA version. I wish it had like a date on it. All right, last round. I swear. What is Quest for Glory? Quest for Glory combines the character development and combat that are typical of fantasy role-playing, games with the basic adventure game concept of exploring a world and solving its puzzles. So You Want to Be a Hero is the first Quest for Glory scenario. The essence of role-playing is that you must try to think as your character would when faced with a dilemma. In Quest for Glory 1, you can choose from 3 basic character types: the strong fighter, the mysterious magician, or the wily thief. Each has the same goal, to be named hero as Spielberg. Each character will, however, set about accomplishing that goal in a different way. The magician may use spells to overcome some obstacles, but might not survive a pitched battle with a monster. The thief must find a crafty way around a problem that the fighter or magic user would approach directly. Experience can be a tremendous asset to you as a hero. Your attributes will improve as you play the game. Tasks that are beyond your ability early on may become less difficult as your skills improve. Conversation is one very important part of Quest for Glory. You will meet strange people and creatures in the valley. To learn about the valley in your quest, it will be necessary to speak with everyone you meet. Like your character, the beings you meet will have distinct personalities, and their skill and knowledge may lie in different areas. You will want to find out all that you can. Every hero must deal with his share of foul and ferocious monsters. If you want to be a hero, you'll have to fight or avoid them, as they don't tend to favor discussion. Each battle you fight will provide you with valuable experience, and many victories will yield treasure that you will need to buy food and equipment. A hero's life isn't always serious, though. Between desperate encounters with terrible monsters and life-and-death decisions lie many light-hearted, humorous, and downright silly moments. Spielberg is a strange place with a multifaceted personality, as you will soon see. Creating a character. Before beginning your adventure, you will need to choose from 3 basic character types: the fighter, the magic user, or the thief. Your selection will determine much about the sorts of obstacles you will encounter and the means by which you will overcome them. Using your mouse, joystick, or arrow keys, place the cursor on the title plate of the character you wish to play, then click on the title plate. Press the left mouse button, press the fire button, or press enter. Each type of character comes with its own set of skills and abilities, some specific to the character type, some common to all three. Every type has pre-assigned point values for appropriate abilities. In addition, you will begin the game with a 50-point pool to assign to the areas in which you wish your character to be the strongest. At the top of the skill point screen is an area for you to type your hero's name. Name him anything you like. If you change your mind after you have chosen a character's name, you may use the backspace key to erase the character's name. Replace it by typing in an alternate name you like. Fighter depends on his skill with weapons, his strength, and his vitality to survive the rigors of life as a hero. His weapon is his sword, his best defense is his shield. We recommend that you play a fighter during your first Quest for Glory adventure. The magic user. The magic user must rely on his intelligence and the successful casting of magic spells. He can best protect himself by avoiding close combat. The thief. The thief counts on his skills, stealth, and agility. His weapon of choice is the dagger, and he prefers to throw it from a distance. He can best defend himself in combat by dodging. Assigning skill points. To highlight a skill, use the mouse cursor, the up and down arrow keys, the tab key, or move the joystick up and down. To assign points to a skill, press the right mouse button, the right arrow key, or move the joystick to the right. Each time the right mouse button or right arrow key is pressed or the joystick is moved to the right, 5 points will be assigned to the highlighted skill. Press the left mouse button, okay. I really would just say it once. To subtract 5 from a skill, you may not delete points below the original value of a given skill. To attain a skill not normally available to your character type, such as a lockpicking for a fighter, choose the desired skill from the skill menu and assign points to it using the procedure described above. The minimum skill level of 5 will require 15 points from the points available pool. In other words, it will cost you an extra 10 points to learn the skill. Points for health, stamina, and magic cannot be changed by you directly. The values for these attributes will change automatically as you gain experience, suffer damage, and modify certain skills. Yeah, it's just it's describing three different inputs in one sentence, and it's in the same sentence, and it's kind of it's muddling the meaning. So anyways, abilities. Strength. Important in performing physical activities, especially combat. The fighter must be strong to be effective. Intelligence will enable the magic user to successfully learn and cast spells and will benefit all characters when engaged in mental activities such as outthinking opponents in combat. Agility is important during combat and vital to lockpicking and stealth. The thief cannot prosper without agility. Vitality determines how much damage a character can sustain and how quickly he will recover from damage in strenuous physical activity. High vitality is particularly useful to the fighter. Luck can aid you in many subtle and mysterious ways and is equally important to the thief. Magic is the basic skill required to learn and cast magic spells. Skills. Weapon use determines the character's ability to land a successful blow in combat. Parry is the ability to block an opponent's blow using a weapon or shield. Dodge is a skill used to avoid a blow by ducking or sidestepping it. Stealth is the art of moving quickly and discreetly, taking advantage of shadows and other camouflage when sneaking around. Pick locks is the skill that allows a character to triumph over locked doors, chests, etc. A lockpick or thief's toolkit is necessary to use the skill. Throwing determines your character's aptitude for throwing and accurately hitting a target with a small object such as a rock or a dagger. Climb is the skill that allows a character to scale difficult surfaces. Each character also possesses attributes that are set automatically based on certain skills and ability. Health points gauge the amount of damage that a character can suffer before he will die. Stamina points determine how much energy a character has to perform physical activities. When stamina points are low, the character is weak. He will fight less effectively and be injured more easily. Magic points measure the amount of magic a character can perform. When magic points are gone, the character will be unable to cast spells. Skills and abilities improve with practice. Those skills your character exercises frequently will improve more rapidly, while those left unused will remain fixed at their original levels. Your character only advances in skills he is given when you create him, skills that were assigned at least 5 points. Playing a role. You will begin Quest for Glory as a recent graduate of the famous Adventurers Correspondence School for Heroes. A poster in your local Adventurers Guild reads, "Wanted, hero, no experience necessary. Visit beautiful Spielberg, fight monsters, defeat brigands, reward and title Hero of Spielberg to the successful applicant." It sounded good, especially the no experience necessary part. Now, after a month's journey over torturous terrain, narrowly evading death at every turn, you aren't as enthusiastic. But here you are at the town gates, and it's too late to turn back. You will defeat the monsters and brigands that plague Spielberg or die trying. The latter seems more likely at this point. Now you must become your character and learn to think as he would, reason as he would, and solve problems as he would. You can only be successful if you use your character's own distinct personality to keep him alive. Well, I want to play Shadow Empire, which has got like a 200-page manual. Yeah, no, this is an old game. I mean, this manual, I believe, is the 1992 edition. But yeah, it's definitely an old game. The special action icon bar. In addition to the icons in your standard icon bar, you will notice two different ones. One of these is the special action icon. When you select it, a separate icon bar will appear. These icons control special actions that you might want your character to take. From left to right, walk causes your hero to resume walking normally after performing another action. Run causes your hero to run quickly. Look out for that Saurus. Sneak causes your hero to move stealthily. Sleep causes your hero to take a nap. Character allows you to look at your hero's character sheet. Hourglass tells you the current game time. Checkmark means you don't want to select any of the other icons at this time. Selecting it will take you back to the main icon bar. And question mark will give you a definition of the other icons in the bar when you move the question mark cursor over them. Living in this crazy world, just as in real life, there are basic things a person must do to stay alive. You will need to eat a couple meals a day. If you are carrying food, you'll eat automatically, but try not to run out of rations. You'll also need, I know there's a lot of repetition here, but you'll also need a certain amount of sleep in your special action icon bar to regain health, stamina, and magic points. Without sleep, you will use these points quickly. Sleep is best accomplished at night, as travel is much safer during the daylight hours. Besides, heroes are notorious for their Type A personalities. But you must be careful where you bed down, though, or you may wake up as something's midnight snack. Also in real life, basic necessities cost money. To earn money, you can carry out a quest. They'll be posted at the guild hall, defeat a wealthy monster, or worst of all, get a job at the castle. In the Coin of the Realm, 10 silver pieces equals 1 gold. Supplies such as food, equipment, magical spells, and healing potions can be purchased from the local shops. You will carry most of your equipment in a backpack. The amount that you can carry is determined by your strength and the weight of your equipment. If for some reason you are in a hurry, a monster's on your tail or some such thing, select the run icon in the special action menu to move quickly. Don't run too far though, or you'll soon become tired. Select the walk icon to resume walking normally. Winning the game. When you complete Quest for Glory successfully, you will be given the opportunity to save your character for use in Quest for Glory 2 Trial by Fire. You will be asked to insert a formatted, writable disk. Save this disk as it will allow you to begin Trial by Fire at an advantage. Talking to other characters. You will meet many strange beasts in Spielberg Valley, some human, some otherwise. Most of them know things that you don't, and that you will need to learn. By speaking with them, you can gain some of that knowledge. You should talk to everyone you meet. Click the mouth icon on them. You'll want to jot down anything that seems important, as your conversations will provide you with most of the clues you'll need to become a hero. Many of the replies to your queries may suggest that further communication would be helpful or lead you to others who may provide you with useful information. Pay attention to everything that's said to you and keep your eyes open. Combat. The world is full of monsters and villains, and if you want to stay alive long enough to become a hero, you really ought to learn how to fight them. A clash will occur at any time a monster comes near enough to strike your character. Combat can take place in the room where you encounter a monster, allowing more movement and strategy, or the screen may change to a close-up view of the monster. When you encounter a monster, you will have to react quickly. You can throw daggers or cast an appropriate spell while the monster is still at a distance, or you can engage it with your sword when it comes close enough. Timing is the most important element of combat strategy in Quest for Glory. Try to strike when your opponent is open and anticipate his attacks to better defend yourself. Your choice to either block or dodge blows should depend on your skills and equipment. Ah, yes, this completely comprehensible combat menu. The only thing I wish is I wish it would tell me how to switch. Okay, no, I hit 5. Cool. When you engage a monster in battle, a combat menu will appear in the lower right corner of your screen. There are 3 different variations on the combat menu, one for fighters, sword, one for thieves, dagger, and one for magic users. The sword or dagger menu will appear automatically depending on which weapon you are carrying. You can switch between that menu and the magic menu by clicking on the center of the menu or pressing the 5 key in the center of your keypad. You can do battle either by selecting your actions on the combat menu with your mouse or joystick, or by using the corresponding keys on the keypad. If you feel the situation has gotten out of control, switch to the magic menu and select Run to make tracks. Many battles can be avoided, and it might be wise at times to do so. Combat, however, is one of the best ways for an aspiring hero to practice and improve his skills. Each time you defeat a monster, you'll gain valuable experience that will increase your chances in future battles. Remember, always search the body of your opponent. Click the hand icon on the body after winning a battle, for some creatures carry money or other useful items. In most cases, status bars are displayed during combat, keeping you informed of health, status, and mana. As you become injured, health points diminish. You'll use stamina points as you work hard at fighting or using your skills. When stamina points are depleted, energy is drawn from health. When health points are gone, the character is dead. A health bar is also displayed for your opponent to show you how badly it is injured. Okay. Just taking a moment here. Okay, I'll skip the walkthrough, but I think we're ready to go. I am, however, going to take a minute here to... Actually, I know we've only been reading. I'm going to take a quick minute to go to the bathroom. I'm also going to get my tablet so I can take some notes. And in a minute or two, we should be ready to play the game. Okay, thank you everybody for your patience. We are ready to start playing. This is going to be my very first. Well, sorry, I did load this up. I was going to play this at one point earlier, and it never really materialized. So I have opened this before, but I believe I have like replaced my computer. So I may need to make sure that this actually shows up on stream. Well, this isn't a good start. Let's well, that wasn't a good start. Let's try that again. Let's see if I can get this fixed before I try again. All right, you know what? It's probably easier for me to just go to the display capture. There's another, so like if I tab out, it goes to a very, very small window, which I suspect I can get to work with OBS, but then I'm not going to be able to enjoy the game, so. The software you are now using was produced through the efforts of many people, designers, artists, programmers, musicians, and lots of other hardworking folks. If you make copies of this software for any reason other than to make a personal backup, you are not only breaking the law, but raising the cost of software for all legitimate users. Please do not make illegal copies of this game. Oh, by the way, you will need the information contained in the printed documentation to successfully complete this game. In other words, it's not just the law, it's a good idea. These are the Half-Life people, right? Quest for glory. So you want to be a hero. Not that I don't enjoy this music, but I don't think this is really an introduction. I think this is credits. Choose your character. And, oh, there we go. All right. Any of you have a particular name I should go for? Like the funny thing is, I'm actually in a D&D game, and the character's name is Cromwell. So, but he's a rogue. So, still calling myself Cromwell. Okay. Aha, there we go. You want to call him something fantastic like Jim or Carl? I don't know. I have no idea how any of this stuff is going to affect it, so sure. We'll go with it. This seems like a quiet little town. On the porch ahead of you are two people. The standing one is large, rather ugly, and playing with a yo-yo. The seated person, smoking a pipe, looks like he might be the sheriff. The man with the pipe greets you. Welcome to our town. You are lucky to have made it down from the mountains before the snow blocked the pass again. It's gotten pretty dangerous outside the town, I understand. Many monsters have been trapped around here with the late snow. Between them and the brigands, we certainly could use a hero around here. I am Sheriff Schultz Meisterson. This is Otto von Goon, my assistant. Sorry, should I be doing the Teutonic names? I am Sheriff Schultz. Oh, good luck in your quest. Schultz appears to be an affable old coot content to smoke his pipe. There's a hardness behind his eyes, however, that gives you reason to believe that he is no pushover. There's more than a hint of ogre about this strange and bulky character. He seems cheerful, though. Ask about the mountain. You should know. You came down from there. Ask about the town. This town was named after the barons of Spielberg. It used to be a lively place to be before the brigands came and drove all the business away. You can find a place to stay at the inn next door. You can learn about jobs available at the Guildhall down the street. If you are interested in magic, you should visit the magic shop. There's still plenty to do and see here in Spielberg. Ask about the Baron. Baron Stefan keeps mostly to himself at his castle north of here. We haven't seen him here in town for years. Magic. Just next to the inn is a small magic shop. The owner, Zara, will let you in if you have some abilities in that area. She's a strange one, all right. Go talk to the innkeeper. He'll help you there. Ask about the Guildhall. The Guildhall is in the southwest corner of town. If you're looking for work, that's a good place to go. Ask about monsters. The monsters come down from the mountains every winter, but they're usually gone by now. The Baron just doesn't have enough men to handle them. Wolfgang is the one to talk to about monsters. He's had a lot of experience with them. Ask about Wolfgang. Wolfgang, down at the Guildhall, is the one to talk to about monsters. He's had a lot of experience with them. Ask about the Guildhall. The Guildhall is at the southwest corner of town. If you're looking for work, that's a good place to go. Ask about the brigands. There's a whole band of brigands hiding out somewhere in the mountains around us. They robbed a merchant last week. Got a fair amount of treasure, I hear. The one who was robbed? He's staying at the inn, I believe. Go talk to the innkeeper. He'll help you there. Obtaining treasure involves putting yourself in danger. If you're brave, foolish, or lucky, you might get some treasure. My friend, this world is filled with dangers. Sometimes I think it might be better to choose your danger rather than sitting around waiting for it, as I seem to do. But enough of this philosophical rambling. I am content enough to be Sheriff of Spielberg. Adventure. You'll need to talk to the Baron about that, or go ask Wolfgang down at the Guildhall, which is just down the street. So maybe you're going to be a hero. Well, we could surely use one around here, with all the brigands. I'm Sheriff Schultz Meisterson, and this is Otto von Goon, my assistant. I get no response from Otto. This is the door of the sheriff's office. Windows from the light inside. Sign reads Hero's Tale Inn. There is a sign on the door of the barber shop that says out to lunch. This is the town water supply. No wonder nobody ever comes here. Cool trick. There's no getting around it. A shop with its eye on you makes you nervous. You've come to the end of the main street. The town wall is to the south. You have an eerie feeling that someone is watching you. She's really sleeping soundly and doesn't notice your presence. She's the only sane person here. At least she's not off her rocker. This looks like a nice, neat little house. There's a grandmotherly little old lady rocking on the front porch. I'm going to take a minute here to save. An ancient balance scale. Zara thinks it will help her maintain a sense of balance. You see a wide variety of arcane objects. For example, scrolls covered with mysterious symbols and arcane incantations. I am Zara, and my companion is Damiano. The items in this shop are designed for those skilled in the use of magic. Ask about Zara. I'm both human and fairy folk. I draw my power from both. My name is Zara. This is my shop. Ask about the fairy folk. We are a people of power and magic and live in the forests far beyond the mountains to the west. Ask about power. Power is the essence of magic, that which the wizard shapes and is shaped by. Ask about Damiano. Have a good one. It is D-Pain. Thank you very much for the host. Damiano is both my familiar and my friend. We share our lives and our magic. Ask about the familiar. A familiar is a creature of magical abilities which has been summoned to serve the wizard. The summoning of a familiar is a most powerful spell and can be cast but once. It binds the wizard and the familiar to the ends of their lives. The more powerful the wizard, the more powerful the familiar, although you cannot always judge power by a familiar's shape. Ask about magic. If you have the skill of magic, you can learn the way to cast spells by reading magical scrolls. Without the skill, you have no power. The more you practice spell casting, the greater you shall become. Initiation. When you have mastered 9 spells, have the power to cast all, and proven yourself worthy by accomplishing a great deed, then you must undergo initiation to become a full wizard. There is a place in the distant south where you must journey, but first you must become a hero here. A wizard is one who both shapes magic and is shaped by it. Erasmus and I are the only wizards in this valley. Erasmus is a wizard and a spellcaster who knows much about this area. He lives in a tower northeast of town at the top of a steep mountain called Zauberberg. He can be very helpful if approached properly, but he has a strange sense of humor. The power potion restores your magical energy and costs 75 silver. There are many entrances to the halls of magical mastery in the south. After you have gained skill and a good reputation in magic, you should journey south. If you are indeed worthy of being a wizard, you will find a way to those halls. Master the arts of arcane, use those skills to vanquish the evil curse, and you will become a true hero. Spielberg. There is much magic in this world for those who know how to use it. There is magic in this little town, and a good deal of magic in this valley. There is an aura protecting this town from danger. Within most of its walls, there can be no act of violence or cruel magic. Even so, it is prudent to avoid dark places. An aura is a spell of protection surrounding something. The town is still protected by the aura cast by the great spellcaster Irana. Irana was a powerful spellcaster who lived long ago. She brought peace to this valley. Even now, her spell protects this town from violence or foul magic. Her final resting place is due north of the town, and it is a place of both safety and healing. It is known as Irana's Peace. There's much power in this valley, and it attracts those who use magic. I am here, Erasmus has his house on Zauberberg, and even Baba Yaga has her hut cooped up somewhere around here. Baba Yaga. She's a powerful and wicked hag. You should be wise to avoid her. She cursed the Baron von Spielberg when he tried to drive her away. Baba Yaga's hut is magical. It stands on chicken's legs, and you must know the rhyme to enter. I have no interest in entering Baba Yaga's hut, and therefore do not know the rhyme. This is Baba Yaga's curse cast upon the Baron years ago. Upon von Spielberg and all his clan, this curse I now demand. What I will shall come full measure, and so ye shall lose all that ye treasure. There's always a way to break a curse. Possibly Erasmus knows more about this. Erasmus makes a point of studying the effects of magic upon mortals. There is little about magic in this area that Erasmus does not know. What I sell here are merely tools to help those who have power. You may purchase restorative potions and scrolls from which you may learn spells, if you have the potential. A true magic user has the innate affinity for magic. There is also the ability to store power, which ordinary mortals do not have. We sell several magical spells on study scrolls. You may purchase Fire Dart for 60 silver, Fetch for 40 silver, or the Open Spell for 30 silver. I also know you can find a spell if you learn the secret of Irana's Peace. That is the spell that lets you cast a magical flame upon your enemy. The spell scroll will cost you 60 silver. The Fetch spell allows you to lift or lower a lightweight object from a distance. The spell scroll will cost you 40 silver. It is a spell that allows you at first to unfasten simple locks and knots. As you gain in skill, you can even open doors with it. The spell scroll will cost you 30 silver. That is the spell that lets you place magical energy upon a weapon. The energy will be released as magical damage when you hit your enemy. The scrolls we sell are magical. You have but to read the spell and you will learn it. To the north of the town, surrounded by the mountains, is an alpine valley that is rumored to be the final resting place for Irana, although no one is certain what happened to her. It is certainly a magical place of safety. There is also supposed to be a gift there for magic users who are clever enough to find it. We have potions of healing, vigor, and power for purchase from our shop. It's not familiar enough with you to want to chat. There are a few Dead Sea Scrolls, a couple of Red Sea Scrolls, a C++ scroll written in assembly language, and others even more esoteric. Okay, so surely there is a way for me to buy something. Zara has a mysterious, unearthly look to her. You have a feeling that she is not a person to trifle with. The Batwing creature must be some sort of familiar. There is an uncanny look in its eyes, and you don't want to look at it too closely. It is clearly magical. None of the scrolls is in a language you've ever seen. Someone is watching you. You don't want to steal, I want to buy. You see a wide array of arcane objects, toaster oven, very rarely used. Electricity hasn't even been invented yet. I want to buy. As your hand nears the coals, you discover that they are burning. It's a good thing you can't get close to Zara. With the electrifying personality, the results could be shocking. All right, this is definitely one that I'm going to do a quick search for. So it says here, apparently I'm supposed to just use the mouse button. I mean, I'm also willing to just go around and like try and get into some fights, but actually, hang on, is there there we go. So it's like 4 gold for one of these. I feel like I probably should do flame. I detect that you have not the money to purchase that item. Do not toy with me! Okay, apparently we're poor. See, your money's still there. Yep, there it is. So it's like 50 silver. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be wasting my money then. You can just see a thin thread of light under the door, so there's probably someone inside. Also, I think there was a midday. Okay. You enter the Adventurers Guild Hall. This Adventurers Guild Hall reminds you of the one in your hometown. The traditional moose head and other stuffed monsters, Saurus, Troll, Griffin, Dragon, Cheetor, and the terrible Antwerp adorn the walls. You see a registration book on the table and the bulletin board full of job listings. The man seated near the window must be the guildmaster. He is snoring. This is certainly a weird one. You've never seen anything quite like it. The plaque reads, Antwerp, slain by 2 guys from Andromeda. I believe those are the developers of the Space Quest series. The head is like a panther's, but with a strong human-like quality. It is still rather frightening. The plaque reads, Cheetor, slain by Wolfgang Abenteuer, presumably this guy. Even in death, this monster remains awesome. The plaque reads, Dragon, slain by Baron Stefan von Spielberg. It looks like it must have been a particularly nasty troll. You wouldn't want to meet him in a dark forest. The plaque reads, Troll slain by Wolfgang Abenteuer. The fine crystal chandelier lights the room. This crossbreed of eagle and lion could have torn a man apart when it was alive. This plaque reads, Griffin slain by Wolfgang Abenteuer. The plaque under the moose says, courtesy of the Sierra Online prop department. You never saw a purple Saurus before you came to Spielberg, but it looks like a really stupid monster. The plaque reads, Saurus slain by Hans Hafwitten. A past adventurer's armor suit, you wonder why he doesn't need it anymore. Then you see the Cheetor claw marks. The guildmaster appears to be hard of hearing. Perhaps you should get closer. Looks like this old guildmaster doesn't do too much adventuring anymore. Still, he looks like he was plenty tough in his day, and he probably has many a tale to tell. Ah! I was so busy I didn't notice you come in. Welcome, welcome. It is so seldom that we have a new adventurer here. Most people think this valley is cursed. It was just yesterday that I drew my sword and started out. Or was that the day before? Oh, then last week. What was I talking about? Ask about the guild hall. This is where an adventurer can find out who needs someone brave and courageous. There are many jobs on the bulletin board over there. It is also a good place to talk about adventures on a cold afternoon. We used to play cards here once a week as well, but there are too few adventurers in Spielberg anymore. They all died from monsters or brigands, or they just got too old. Did I ever tell you about the time when Schaus and I rid the Valley of Antwerps? Yeah, we were real adventurers then. This was a real guild hall. Now we are just old men, and this is just a place to tell old stories. You can see some of the types of monsters that live around here if you look on our walls. There are trolls, griffins, cheetors, mantrays, and goblins wandering the woods. I see there are even some ogres and saurus rexes back in the valley. There was a time when Schultz and I had gotten rid of most of the monsters around here, but we are too old for that now. Trolls are very tough. Fortunately, they only come out at night. The woods are very dangerous at night. The saurus is a monster easy to avoid and easy to kill for a skilled adventurer. Ogres are a lot like goons, but even meaner. Not as bright, though. Goblins are not tough, but when they gang up, they can take out an unwary adventurer. Cheetors are ferocious creatures that charge out of nowhere and try to tear you to shreds. Sometimes they succeed. Those weird things are magical. They are best avoided. Don't mistake those things for sauruses. When they come at you, it is sometimes best to just run away. Over on the wall there is where the jobs are posted for adventurers. Some have been there a long time now. There just aren't too many good adventurers around here lately. You need to talk to either the Baron or the healer about that. Her house is just north of the town gate. She's a nice woman. The castle is just north of the healer's house. Schultz and I killed most of the monsters on those walls. I am Wolfgang Abentauer, the guildmaster of this hall. I'm supposed to keep track of all the adventurers and make sure they sign their names in the log. There was a time when I would go out and rescue foolhardy adventurers who got into too much trouble, but I don't get out much now. Yeah, the Baron losing his son and daughter, Baba Yaga, all the monsters, and now the brigands. It has just been one thing after another. Baron von Spielberg was once a brave protector of our valley. We used to adventure together when I was younger. Hey, woman. No brigand or monster would dare show his face here if the Baron had not angered Baba Yaga. Now it is said he goes nowhere and sees no one. Now there was a hero, and worthy of the name Bernard von Spielberg. He rode off to hunt one morning 5 years ago, and his horse returned with large claw marks on it. No sign of Bernard's body was ever found. Elsa was a beautiful 8-year-old child with blonde hair and sky-blue eyes. She was her father, the Baron's joy. 10 years ago, she was carried off by something which flew over the wall and away with her. The search for her lasted many years, but at last everyone gave up, except the Baron's jester, Yorick. Yorick was a funny little man, but brave. He swore he would spend his life searching for the Baron's Elsa. She is the center of our problems, I think. Baba Yaga is a powerful ogre. Baron von Spielberg tried to force her to leave this valley, but she cursed him. Now the Baron has lost everything but his land, and I don't know how long he will keep that. What our valley needs is a hero. A real hero is someone who didn't start out strong or powerful, but uses his courage and brains and skills to become the best he can be. There is a reward for anyone who can stop the brigands by capturing or killing the leaders of the brigands. You should read the bulletin board for more information. We'll see. I mean, it took me a little bit to get started for the first one, but I'm eager to play this. The only thing I'm not sure on is that obviously there's a lot of reading and not a lot happening right now. So I'm curious how people feel about it. But I definitely want to give this like a good go. The reason I read the whole manual for like an hour at the start is I want to make an effort to like engage with this stuff on its own terms, because I do like some older games, but some other ones I find very frustrating because of their old style. All right, let's talk about Spielberg. Spielberg Town is small now that most people have been driven off by the brigands. This is such a pretty place, too, with the mountains, forests, and waterfalls. The mountains surrounding this valley are very high. Snow covers the tops all year long. The only way out of Spielberg Valley is through the pass, though I hear that is blocked by snow again. The forests are full of monsters and strange creatures. There are some nice waterfalls to the southeast of town. They fill Mirror Lake, which is lovely, but icy cold all year round. This town used to be a thriving city before the brigands drove most of the people off. I don't know much about magic, but the woman who runs that place scares me. Casper at the store would like to be an adventurer, or so he says. He spends too much time dreaming and not enough doing, I think. I've never liked that place. The bartender smiles all the time, but he is not very friendly. Crusher lives up to his name. He's nasty, even for a goon. A goon is a lot like an ogre, not as tough, but a little smarter. The sheriff's Otto and Crusher at the tavern are both goons. I think the bakery is almost always closed now. The baker tries to stay away from his wife. I don't think the butcher shop is open much anymore either. The farmer's mart is run by the centaurs Heinrich Pfefferden and his daughter Hildy. There are not too many centaurs in this land. Heinrich and Hildy are good people. Schultz Meisterson and I have been friends for a long time. He too was once a real adventurer. Now he is just the sheriff of this town. Reward for return of a lost ring, inquire at the healers. You take the poster, no other adventurer will be able to read it. That's the point. Reward of 30 gold coins for the capture or death of the brigand warlock. Description: short, ugly, and wears brightly colored robes. Has a habit of laughing continually. Inquire at Spielberg Castle gates. Wanted, brigand leader. Description: unknown appearance, wears a cloak, must provide proof of leader's identity. Reward of 60 gold coins and the title of Hero of the Realm. Inquire at Spielberg Castle gates. This poster seems to have been here a while. It is a picture of a handsome but arrogant young man. The reward of 50 gold coins for information leading to the return of Baronet Bernard von Spielberg. Inquire at Spielberg Castle gates. Notice: spell components needed. Cash or trade for potions. Inquire at the healers. This poster is rather dusty and faded. The picture is of a small child with braids. Reward of 50 gold coins for the safe return of Elsa von Spielberg. Inquire at the Spielberg Castle gate. So presumably spell components and return the lost ring for the healer. You sign your name into the adventurer's logbook with a flourish. All right, so what I'm going to do here, first of all, I noticed outdoors, mid-afternoon. I'm going to double check where the healer is and where Elsa's rest or whatever it was called was. All right, you know what? You only YOLO once. The breeze is cool, but you feel a shiver deeper than just the cold. You are really on your own now, in a very dangerous place. It appears that a recent avalanche has sealed off the road leading out of the valley. Not what I wanted. There seems to be a fox north of the road. Help me, brave and kind hero. My foot is caught in this trap. If I had hands like you instead of paws, I could free myself. Please help me, brave and kind hero. You spring the trap. In exchange for your kindness, I will give you some advice and a bit of information. First of all, sometimes it pays off to be polite, even to rude people. As for the amusing tidbit, Baba Yaga put an enchantment on the Baron's daughter some years back. To break the spell, you need to talk to the Dryad. Au revoir. Ta-ta for now. Be seeing you. Can't do much for that. Okay. I'm just looking for a fight, to be honest. Far from the frost field fares forth this fighter. Hunger has hurled me hither from home. My name is known in the Northlands as Bragi. Barter with blades clash, or bargain with me. From the blue color of his skin and his huge height, you can tell this is a frost giant. Bragi I be to boast of my boldness, strong as the storm that sends forth the snow. Fiercer in fighting than foes in their fury. Fear now this frost giant, fighter and flee. Far from the frost field fares forth this fighter. Hunger has hurled me hither from home. My name it is known in the Northlands as Bragi. Barter with blades clash, or bargain with me. Find me some fruit, for to mellow my mead horn. Gift I will give of a gem that now glows. Jewel from Jotunheim, flare from the frost flame. Fetch to me fruit that will fill up my fists. It looks like it will take a lot of fruit to fill up those fists. High point of harvest, the finest of flavor. Apples or oranges, peaches or pears. Mead is the mother's milk, mighty yet mellow, that brings joy to giants and madness to men. Glows of the forest frost flame that fills the night field, a jewel that is flawless, the finest of gems. Hollow my food house, for my hunt has been hindered by having to hurry here from my home. Fiercer than frostbite, my fury is fearless. My axe is edged as is the ice. This warrior is willing to wield now the war drum. The battle axe blazes and bellows for blood. Obviously, I'm going to do something stupid here, but I haven't had combat yet, so... Your weapon is now magically charged. Fiercer than frostbites, my fury is fearless. My axe is edged as is the ice. Courage you carry, but skill it is scanty. Face not this foe before fiercer you fight. The bigger they come, the harder they hit. Next time, pick on someone your own size. Yeah, so it doesn't even let me... Doesn't even let me fight it. This seems like a really good way for me to get lost, but... A sign appears. It reads, Willkommen auf Zorberg. That's the wizard. A lot of these areas are looking... Uh-oh! Hostile intent is evident. You prepare for battle. I should have saved before I did this. I am trying to switch to... What a monster! It was a tough battle, and you lost. Never fear, all you have to do is restore your game and... What? What do you mean, restore what game? Yeah, I wish I'd saved a little earlier than that. So, I am definitely going to need to learn how the combat works, because it felt like the number pad didn't do anything. But I figure we can learn that now. And then when it matters, I'll, I don't know. I'll figure it out, maybe. Hostile intent is evident. You prepare for battle. Damn it. It definitely recommended saving often. So that felt like a pretty tough enemy, all told. I can see why they recommend playing the fighter. Because I won't lie, I can't really parse the combat that well. But we'll manage. All right. I'd rather not go up against that again, but it may force my hand, so... I mean, that was a slightly better round than last time, but... That was a much worse throwing than I should have given, but... So the dodge doesn't seem to be doing much here. This also may be more than I can handle, but... So, yeah, the funny thing is if I just spam attack, I think I do more damage than I've ever done. But that's not a way to learn, right? You are so exhausted that everything you do hurts. Better get some rest. That was a little too much for you. You collapse from exhaustion and die. Well, that's why I can't spam. Yeah, so I've never successfully dodged. So apparently, yeah, that's strikes me as a rather tough one. Based on this experience, it doesn't seem to be doing any more damage. Yeah, so I don't really know what the deal with the dodge is here. Because it seems to cost me stamina, but it doesn't actually get me any, It doesn't really get me anything in exchange for it, so... I really do want to try and learn this. This may not be the best enemy to do it on. I will also confess this doesn't feel super responsive. So it's like a couple of times I just stand and take it. Yeah. All right. So we're going to try something a little different, and that's running. I can run, but that'll cost me stamina, which of course if I wind up in a fight doesn't help me. The meadow lies covered with a blanket of flowers, unusual for this early in the spring. It is warm, even though surrounded by the late snows of winter. A large carved stone lies flat on the ground. You feel as though someone gentle was watching over you. You feel that you are safe here. The air has the fresh, clean scent of the mountains, accompanied by numerous perfume-like fragrances. The large stone appears to be ancient and deliberately placed. Marks carved into the stone almost look like writing. Seems like a good place to... The tree's blossoms are soft green and the fruit sparkles in the sunlight, and yet it appears soft and fuzzy. The stone has the words Irana's Peace carved upon the top. There are some runes carved along the side. The sweet, juicy fruit of the tree is amazingly satisfying and refreshing. Your hunger has been totally satisfied. You don't need another piece of fruit. The giant does. As you pick a variety of sweet-smelling flowers, they seem to glow in your hands. You put them safely away. No amount of physical effort will be able to move this stone. You take another handful of the lovely, fragrant flowers. Okay, so before I go any further on this one, I'm going to take a quick second. Oh, what's going on here? My God. I'm just going to take a quick second here to look up the combat in the game and see if I can make some sense of this. Yeah, so it says here, run away from anything except goblins. Brigands are supposed to be the second most deadly, but... Apparently the mage is the hardest one to play, apparently. Okay. I think at this point... Man, it is not letting me switch. I should have just ran it out to the end. That one's unavoidable. I think I'm just going to restore at 6. So this does actually raise a question for me as to whether or not I want to continue on as the magic user, because I feel like if I'm going to be in this perpetual run from the brigands mode, that may not be the most interesting thing I could do. On the other hand, I mean, this game presumably was made to be able to like to play as a magic user. So what I'll do is I'll wander the woods for a little bit. It would be good to know how I can get back to Arana's Rest. And then if it's just a question of like, well, hello there. The majestic centaur watches you carefully. I am Henrik Fairdefendern. I live in this town with my daughter Hilde, who sells our produce on Market Street. Hilde is a bright little filly. I'm very proud of her. Our stand is in the northeast corner of Spielberg. The produce is not the finest this time of year, but you will not find better than Pfefferden fruit come harvest time. We grow fine fruit on our little orchard and sell it to our stand in town. There you will find fresh cherries in the spring, peaches in summer, and apples in the fall. It is truly a sight to see. I can grow enough on this little plot to feed my family and the village. You should see this field during summer. There are a few carrots and potatoes left from last season, but I'm just starting to plant the crops now. In a couple of months, I'll have some cherries. The apples won't ripen until fall. There is much work for me to do now, and I bid you good day. The brigands attacked me a few months ago. I am a strong fighter, and my hooves are deadly, but there were too many of them. My right leg was broken, and there is no pride for a centaur who cannot run. If it had not been for the unlikely intervention of their leader, I would be dead. The leader came up after the brigands attacked me and forced them to stop, ordering them not to hurt people from the town. Then, to my amazement, the leader gave me a healing potion and had me carried to the healer's house. It was hard to judge the leader, whose face was obscured by a large helm, but there was compassion unlike what one expects from a brigand. The healer lives just east of here. She is very skilled with potions. We centaurs are a very ancient and proud people. I'm sorry, I know little about the Baron and his family. Sounds like he might have met the son, though. I wish I didn't do that. This creature looks more like a small flying lizard than a bird. I'm going to try walking back. I wish I could have read whatever the description there was. You politely knock on the door. After a moment, you hear the inside bolt slide open. A voice from inside says, "Come on in." The fragrances of herbs mingle with some rather unpleasant odors as you step into the healer's house. Lovely day, isn't it? My, you look very healthy for an adventurer. You must be new. What can I do for you? I can sell you healing potions if you like. I also buy spell components if you are interested in gathering some for me. Don't mind me. I always have so much to do around here. Well, my name is Amelia Appleberry, but mostly I'm just known as the healer. I'll be happy to sell you some potions. I live here with my pet, Terry. Oh, that's my pet, Terry. The pterosaur. He has a girlfriend, Sarah, with a nest in the oak outside my door. Terry keeps me company and listens while I chatter as I work. They were a species of flying lizard. I understand they can grow quite large in the south. My ring is shaped in gold, like a braid of the herb Athelas with entwined leaves. I don't know how I lost it. I hardly ever take it off. I'll give you 6 golds for the person who can return my ring. It was a gift when I graduated from the College of Healing. I make and sell a healing potion, power potion, vigor potion, and undead unguent. This potion is used to heal damage and keep wounds from getting worse. It has gotten pretty dangerous around here, and a healing potion can be quite useful in a serious situation. Vigor potion is used to revitalize yourself after vigorous exercise. It helps to restore stamina. Stamina is a measure of the energy the body uses as you work or play. Power potions restore the energy needed to cast spells. Undead unguent is used to drive off the minor undead such as zombies or floating spirits. It doesn't last long, so you should use it near where you are going to encounter such things. There are not too many zombies in this land. Too damp, I suppose. There are some floating spirits, I have heard. Floating spirits are the ghosts which usually hang around graveyards at night. They are dangerous, so don't go near them unless you use undead unguent first. I have the skill to use my magic to create potions. I'm a bit proud of it. Not everyone can do that, you know. I always need ingredients for making potions. Right now, I need some of Rama's flowers, magic mushrooms, troll beard, and let me think. Oh yes, Cheetor claws. I should be happy to pay you if you bring me some. I'll also buy back any empty flasks you have so that I can recycle them. Waste not, want not, after all. Well... Oh, did I not get the flat? Damn. All right. I mean, there is a side of me that wants to... Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I don't have that much time to stream anyway. Oh, by the way, if you happen to find a ring on your adventures, I lost my favorite gold ring. I will give a reward to the one who returns it. So I imagine it's up there. So especially because I wanted to read the text here anyway, maybe I'll go back to Arama's Rest, but what I am going to try and do is work out the that's not where I want to be. What I might do is just reload at 6 so that I can pick up some stuff. And then when I come back to this, I will... It means I'll have to redo some of the centaur and the healer conversation. My big question is how I get back on the road. I would have thought if I just walk straight down, that would have done the trick, but definitely doesn't feel like it. You seem to have startled the white stag. By golly, it's an Antwerp. Antwerps are on the endangered species list. They are rarely seen. You get no response. Might not be a bad idea for me to try running. Oh, that's no good. You have an even worse feeling about this place. You knew this job was dangerous. This was not the ending you had in mind when you read the manual on how to be a hero. Either you just aren't ready to take on the situation, or there is a better way to accomplish your mission. All right, we'll do one more attempt. You've never seen anything quite like them. They're pretty in a grotesque way. You have no need to pick the flowers. This is definitely the sort of stuff where I feel like I should have... You'd like to do that, wouldn't you? Looks difficult. You look around for a good place to climb. Oh, this isn't gonna go well. This looks like a good place for you. You valiantly scrabble against the cliff wall, but it looks like your climbing skill could stand some improvement. Perhaps there is some other way to get to your objective. So I'm slightly curious if that cost me stamina. Nope. Tis but a scratch. How you doing, Revive Snow? So yeah, there's definitely some spells I would like. Oh. Let's get ready to fight a goblin. Yeah, I don't know about these controls. Hostile intent is evident. You prepare for battle. All right, this is going to be interesting. We did it! You search your opponent. You find 10 silver coins and carefully place them in your pouch. So yeah, goblins are considerably easier than brigands. Hostile intent is evident. You prepare for battle. I suspect this will not be as good as last time. Yeah, I can't win them all. Okay, we'll do this in order. Ooh. Yeah, so this might mean, well, as long as I'm careful on the timing. Yeah, so this is a guaranteed loss. I think I just, oh, wow, okay. With your opponent, you find 8 silver coins and carefully place them in your pouch. I definitely need to save that one because I have no more stamina. Oh, that's not good. I just want to find the road, man. Okay, those are very cute, but I can't help but think that that's not going to end well for me. The trees look more vibrant than most of the forest. There is a ring of mushrooms in the center of this clearing. You pick a handful of the smaller mushrooms and carefully put them away in your backpack. Can't do much with that. You get. Oh. This used to be a member of a famous rock group, but it decided to split the scene. It's a ring formed of large and rather unusual looking mushrooms. So my apologies for not like really going in depth on these various areas. Right now, I want to try and find the town again. You seem to have startled the white stag. Fascinating. You follow the stag to this forest corner. You feel as though the eyes of the forest are watching you. You watch the stag, fascinated with his grace and beauty. There is something special about this place. The majestic white stag is an outstanding example of the beauty of the animal kingdom. Large gnarled oak seems to draw your attention. Milady? The tree woman speaks. I am the Dryad, keeper of the woods. Are you one with the woods? Yes. then you shall aid me, and I shall aid you in your quest. Bring me a seed from the spore-spitting Spira in the north, that I may plant it elsewhere in order to preserve these rare and magical plants. Thus will you become a true friend of the forest. So, I think I have an idea. It seems to me that the spell that I need the most is the one that will grab things out of midair. And what I'm going to do next time, like I had my tablet in front of me ready for notes, but it actually occurs to me the biggest thing that I need right now is the ability to draw a map. Like, sure, I can go online. I'm sure I can find. I'm just gonna leave that be. I'm sure I can find any number of guides that will, that'll solve all this for me. But part of the fun of this is to like actually map this out and like learn the game. It's been slow progress, but there's a few things that we can take as some wins here, right? We've gotten a couple of combat encounters down where I've survived. I know that the way my character is built right now, I'm able to run for your lives! The old archery target looks as though it has not been used in quite some time. So, like, this is probably the town right here, right? You can feel the holes where daggers and arrows once hit the target. The fruit on this tree is withered and swarming with hornets. You think better about picking it. Okay, just in case something bad's waiting for me. But yeah, so like I know roughly the combat capabilities of my character. So, 2 goblins per rest or whatever it takes to get my stamina back. Doesn't look good. Hostile intent is evident. You must prepare for battle. Oh, that's not good. The town gate is closed and locked for the night. No! So what time is it? I'm still young on day one. Okay, well. Now is a good time for me to take my map. Actually, you know what would be really good for this? Obsidian. Oh, wait, no, but so Obsidian won't let me... Sorry, gotta take a minute here. The bright smell of fresh herbs mingles with the aroma of wood smoke as you come up to a hut by the side of the road. So to the left will be the centaur. So the problem is that the game has been pretty clear that night is dangerous. Okay. Now I'm going to make a guess here. If I go to the right, well, actually, first question. So, sorry, before I do this. This is exploratory, so, okay, can't go to the right. But I can go north. I'm going to just double check again if I can go to the right or not. Oh, that's not good. Okay, can't go to the right, and I'm definitely not going to survive this. Run, you fool! What are you talking about? Okay, before I do that, it's actually quite difficult to map this stuff out. That's also not good for my health. No, run, you All right, this works for me. I consider myself very lucky to have survived. We're going to do a couple things here. So, if not friend, why friend shaped? So, I've got the beginnings of a map, which I'm actually pretty happy with. I'm going to make a quick note here. So, health 14 of 20. Stamina 4 of 24. Magic, 29 of 31. Now, it would seem to me there's not a whole lot for me to do other than go to sleep here. So, sleep all night. Oh, crap. No, I didn't want to do that. I screwed up. I also don't remember where I was. But I believe in this case I just keep going up. No! I don't think it's gonna let me get past. Oh God. Okay, so this doesn't let me get to the garden. Oh, interesting. Okay. So that doesn't actually let me get to the garden. I don't even know what's caught me. Oh, brigand. Okay. Sorry for the very distracted tone here. I'm just trying to make the notes as well. Oh, God. Okay. I'm not so sure about the map that I've just drawn for myself here, but assuming I don't perish on the way. So this next one should only be able to go left. Actually, hang on. Let me just see if I can. Okay. Hostile intent is evident. You prepare for battle. I can work with this. A little curious what that is, but not enough to... So up and to the right should be sufficient. We made it! Okay. First things first. Save. Definitely have less stamina than last time, but... So the idea here is I want to check to see what the fruit gives me, and I want to check to see what the... Having through sheer terror, just like the original explorers. Well done, Woven. Okay. So I want to see what the effect of a... Oh, interesting. My magic is full. Okay. The other thing I want to do here is... Night is still young. Take another handful of lovely fragrant flowers. So, let's take a look to see what happens when I eat. Your hunger hasn't been totally satisfied. Oh, has been totally satisfied. You don't need another piece of fruit. Fair enough. So, if I then rest all night... You sleep comfortably among the fragrant flowers. You awake as the sun begins to rise. Fruit's very soft and juicy. It would be impossible to keep in your pack. Okay, and that... Okay, so at the very least, resting fully covers my, my stats. I also... Actually don't know if my strength is different. I never really checked. But I think I'm going to call it there. I don't know... How do people feel about this game? I'm still inclined to keep playing it. I don't know if I'll make it like a regular, 2 times a week sort of game. I feel like I've earned a little bit more time just because I know... Oh, hang on. What happens if I crank the detail? Does it do anything? A little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely can see myself, I can definitely see myself doing more of this. But I'm gonna quit out now, remembering that I've got display capture on. Hope we'll see you again soon. Says you've played this for some time now. It's like, I've only played it for like 2 hours, but... Okay, let's see who is online. And also, thank you all of you for sticking through that with me. I'm a little surprised to see the number hanging out. Pleasantly surprised. So I guess I'm going to figure out... I do need to sort of work out my schedule for myself. So on, I guess it was last Friday, maybe a little bit before. But anyways, I did finish Cyberpunk 2077. So that's more or less cleared out what my, what my planned games were. I do have a couple of ideas about things that I can play, long term. This was not one of them, incidentally, but I'd like to spend a bit more time doing it. And then at some point I will fold in a couple of other ones. So Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop is one that I've been enjoying and will be coming back to. I have been thinking of a couple of CRPGs that I can do, but this seemed like a fun little digression. And yeah, I don't know if there's, it sounds like there's enough of an appetite for me to keep playing this. I might take some time on my own to just try and tool around in the game a little bit. And I don't know, like if I just take out some goblins or maybe do some of the mapping on my own, that might be a decent way that I can like still enjoy the game for myself without, like, basically it'll be pushing faster through the things that might drag down the stream a little bit here. But anyways, I'll work it all out. I should be back on Wednesday. We'll figure out what with. And then I know Easter's coming up, so any Canadian holidays I'll take off for myself. But I don't know, I haven't figured that out yet. Also, because I'm not going to cause any problems with the aspect ratio, please do check out Revived Snow, a lovely fellow Canadian broadcaster. And for those of you that like classic games, Kilgore Trout's playing this like retro-looking Star Citizen clone called Freelancer. Kilgore Trout is one of the members of the GOG stream team. So GOG has recently divested from CD Projekt Red, so that's an independent company on their own. I suspect that the stream team and things like that are still the same, but that's how I originally found him. He plays a lot of classic games on original hardware, so no doubt he will be familiar with no doubt he'll be familiar with this game here. But he seems like a good one to host. Yeah, it's independent. I think it's like still owned by the like the founder of CD, or maybe not founder, but the majority owner of CD Projekt Red. But it's a fully independent entity now. So like CD Projekt Red, as far as I recall, is like a pure play gaming company now. As in like game developer. But anyways, I will speak of it more when I am actually informed rather than going from a half-remembered article. Please enjoy Kilgore's channel. I will see some of you on Wednesday, and take care until then.